Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited to have you here and to be diving into a whole new topic within this episode. Now, you may have noticed if you are a religious listener that I unfortunately didn't post a podcast for a couple of weeks, and you may have been thinking, okay, Shelbs, you promised that you weren't going to ghost us again, and here you are less than 2 months in ghosting us. But I promise it wasn't like that at all. I actually had a couple weeks of really bad health with back-to-back ear infection, flu, tonsillitis. Also got my cycle during that whole time, and your girl was struggling, let me say that. So I'm sorry that I dropped off for a little bit, but I promise it was not like last year, and I am back now, and it's actually given me really good inspiration for today's topic. So we are going to be diving into the topic of health is wealth, and the reason that I want to share this topic with you guys today is because I think a lot of us overlook our health and well-being until it flares up. So until you have sickness or a bad mental health episode, or you're feeling run down or burnt out. And I think it's beautiful to talk about this so that you don't only appreciate that when you're losing it, if that makes sense. So you don't only appreciate your health when you're sick, or you don't only appreciate your mental health and work on your mental well-being when you're not feeling your best. And so I have my iPad here because I wrote just a few things that I have started implementing over the last couple of weeks that have honestly helped me so much when it comes to bringing my health back up, because I was in bed basically for 2 weeks fighting off whatever this sickness was. And I think it's a collective thing at the moment. I am hearing so many people, not only in Australia but also on random parts of the world, saying that they've either got the flu or some weird gastro kind of bug. And for us in Australia, we've just transitioned now, but we were in summer, and it was the weirdest feeling having a summer flu. Like, I don't think I've ever had full-blown flu in the summer, and I was like, something is going on. And I honestly think collectively we have been going through this shedding and this upgrade. And sometimes I think when I personally get sick and when I hear it from my clients, it's because we're going through this energetic upgrade that our physical body can't quite keep up with, and that is why it gets sick or it shuts down or something happens. And I think for me, it's not a coincidence that I got sick the 2 weeks before being full blown back in the business in terms of seeing in-person clients, which, side note, I saw my first lot of in-person clients on Sunday at the new space, which, if you're like, what is she talking about? I have just started in a brand new beautiful space, Beauty by Bethany Page in Trop Park. So I had my wellness center up in Stirling of Adelaide Hills, and in November I decided that that space just wasn't in alignment for us anymore. I have definitely grown as a human being, let alone as a business owner. You know, I was 23 when I started renting in Stirling and opened a Touch of Clarity Wellness Center, whereas as I'm talking to you now, I'm 27. I'll be 28 in June. So there's a lot that has changed and evolved within me and my personal life. Like, I think back to baby Shelbs at 23, who was so ballsy, by the way, to just have this download and open a physical wellness center in the middle of a pandemic, mind you, when physical businesses were shutting down. I was like, I'm going to open it up. And I knew that I needed to do that for my clients, and that my clients needed this physical space more than ever going through this pandemic. And I honestly never looked back. And it wasn't until, I would say, the last year to 18 months in that space, when I was really navigating some huge personal changes, that all of a sudden it started to feel really off there, if I'm being completely honest. The atmosphere and the environment around the center changed so much, and all of a sudden business felt really hard. And I know, like, I did know this during it, but I know it so much more now in hindsight, that it's because there was something off within me and my energy, and it had to be a time where I had to pull back and I had to give to myself instead of giving so much to other people. And it's so funny, unless you work in a face-to-face business or role, and also an energy role or a therapeutic role, it's so hard for you to actually understand how much it takes from you holding space for other people, and especially energetically. Like, I take that energy from those people and I transmute it for them. And if I am not cleansing properly and intentionally, sometimes I am left with some of that energy. And towards the end of working up in Sterling, I definitely was skipping out on my routines and habits and my cleansing techniques because I was so exhausted and, quite frankly, didn't have the energy to do all of that, because it takes a lot. And I was holding so much for myself and holding so much for others that I just didn't have it in me to do anymore. And I think that's why I really got to burnout and almost rock bottom during that period. Whereas now, after taking some time off seeing in-person one-on-ones, I am feeling so much stronger and a better foundation for my clients, so that I can hold that space for them and also transmute it, move through it. And so I don't think it's a surprise that I had this 2-week period just before seeing in-person clients again. And I think there's a few reasons why. I think I went through an upgrade because on Sunday, when I was working on my clients, my Reiki energy felt so much hotter and more intense, and I felt a lot more attuned, like I could channel for them a lot more, and I felt a lot more confident. So I think that I definitely went through like a shedding of potentially some of the old stuff from the business and the old space and what I was going through at that time, like just finally letting go of some of that, and also energetically becoming attuned again. And I also think that it was a very beautiful divine reminder that I cannot let myself get to that point again. And that in order to be a successful business owner and to have a successful business, I have to incorporate some of this cleansing, like up leveling, filling up my own cup in the business as a part of my business model. And that's the thing that I'm kind of like going back and forth with, is I almost feel this guilt when I sit and meditate or sit and journal or don't start work until 10 a.m. because there's always so much to do in the business that I should be at my desk already. And I obviously come from a corporate background where I would work 8 till 4. So, you know, you're straight into work, you're straight onto your emails or onto your tasks. And so it's about unlearning this stuff that I have been programmed my entire adult working life, and to realize that actually these parts are a part of the business. So instead of feeling guilty that I'm sat in the sun journaling or that I'm going for walks in the morning or doing yoga, that is actually a part of my business, and it's a part of energetically setting myself up to be the best practitioner that I can be for my clients. And so it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but as much as I obviously don't want to get sick, it has been so beautiful to have that reminder so early on, getting back into seeing in-person clients, because on Sunday I saw back-to-back clients 8 till 4. 4 o'clock I packed up and I drove straight to the loft where I teach breathwork, and I left the house at 7 a.m. Sunday morning, and I didn't return to my home until 7 p.m. So it was a big, big day, and I ended up energetically working on 11 people. So you can just imagine how I felt Sunday night, Monday morning. I was on this high of, oh my God, I'm back, and I'm feeling so excited and inspired, and I'm loving my clients, but also feeling like drained energetically. And so I am now looking at it that the amount that I give, like anything, like the pendulum, I have to balance it back out and let it swing the other way and give that back to me. So I had this kind of internal conflict yesterday, Monday morning, because I woke up so tired and sluggish and introverted. And Mondays are my day where I do content and I plan out the day, and I literally am so productive usually on Mondays. But now again, I'm having to rewrite that and realize that it's actually okay if Monday mornings aren't my most productive morning anymore, and that potentially we move things around and Wednesday becomes my Monday, or whatever it needs to be. So I want to talk into what I have done to really support myself during this time, because for the first couple of days I was so upset that I was sick again. If you have been in my world for the last year, you'll know that last year I was getting so sick all the time. And I know now that it's because there was some things in my personal life that weren't in alignment. And that was my body and my intuition like screaming at me that something wasn't right. And also I was on verge of burnout. So that definitely had its role in that. But I was getting sick every like 6 to 8 weeks, just continuously last year. And one of my intentions for 2025 was that I was not going to be sick like that. Of course, everyone gets sick, especially since the whole pandemic. I think a lot of us pick up a lot more now. But I was like, I am just going to have the average cold or flu when it comes around. I am not getting sick religiously and like reoccurring. So that was an intention of mine. And yes, I maybe the like first couple months of the year was doing a few things to kind of support that, but not like I have been now. So again, I didn't want to get sick and I don't want to get sick again, but it was also a blessing because I have implemented so many things into my routine now that is going to support me before we get to winter and before I go into the pattern of getting sick all the time. And I'm such an all or nothing person, and I will hold my hand up to that. So I just want to preference that these are things that I am slowly implementing, or things that I have done before that I'm just bringing back in. So if you're like me and you get overwhelmed with like all of these things that you could be doing, I'm sharing it with you with the intention for you and the invitation for you to take one or two things, implement it, get that into your routine, and then implement something else. I was so sad when I was sick for the first couple of days that I went on a like shopping spree online and ordered so many vitamins and different things because I wanted to have options and I wanted to feel like I was doing something. So that's why the list is going to seem quite long, but it's only because I am going on this real reset. And the stuff that I'm going to mention, I'm actually not doing every single day. It's just things that I am pulling on from my toolkit that I'm going to work into my new routine. And this new routine is something that I'm still building on every single day. So, welcome to today's episode, which is Health is Wealth. And I want to start the proper topic conversational part of this episode by saying that we take for granted all that our body does for us each and every day. And if you're like me, you don't actually even acknowledge it or appreciate it until it's not doing those things. And I really want to come back to this place of being so grateful for all that my body does for me every single day. And I put up an Instagram story a couple days ago saying that I definitely don't think that I disrespect my body anymore like I used to. Like I used to binge drink on the weekends and party, you're going out to clubs and interacting with lots of people. I used to wake up hungover the next day and sit in bed and binge Netflix while eating McDonald's, and that's fine. We all have days or times like that, but when it became a constant thing, that's when I knew it actually wasn't a good thing for me anymore. And I want to also preference that when I'm talking about this stuff, I am a huge believer in like 80-20, where 80% of the time I am like this, and there's that 20% where you're human, you enjoy the human experience, you get drunk, you binge eat, you watch Netflix and do all the things. Like I am human, I definitely have my time for that, but it's my 20%, it's not my 80%. Whereas when I was at uni, it was definitely my 80%. So I just want to preference that I'm not sat here judging you if you are in a season where you're being more social or drinking and eating more or whatever it is. I'm just saying that these are some things that I'm trying, and I invite you to try as well. So I definitely am acknowledging that I don't disrespect my body anymore like I used to, but I'm definitely not honoring her. I'm not looking at her as this really beautiful divine vessel or temple that my soul has incarnated in earth in this lifetime, and I'm definitely just plodding along essentially. Like I am not looking at my body like the temple and looking at it in a way that it really, really deserves. Like I said, our body does so much for us. If you look at even the autonomic nervous system, it is constantly helping us breathe, pumping blood, like fighting off illness, our immune system. Like there's so much to it, and we just get annoyed at it when maybe it's not performing as well as we would like to. So I acknowledge that I don't disrespect my body, but I wasn't honoring her. And this whole process, this whole new version of me and my routines and Health is Wealth series, if you will, is me coming back to a place of honoring my body. So let's jump straight into my list of things that I have changed and what I am implementing. And the first one is vitamins. Now, I am not a doctor or a health professional, so please always consult your doctor and do what's best for you. But for me, I had to look at what parts of my body wasn't getting the nutrients that it needs. And so I started taking a lot of vitamins. So for me personally, and again, this is just what I am taking based on conversations I've had with my doctor and my results. So please don't jump on and order all of these things for you because it might not be the right fit. But I decided to take moringa leaf. I am taking zinc while I'm still recovering and my immune system has taken a hit. I'm taking vitamin C. I also started taking an overall vitamin, one of those like wellness multivitamins. And I'm also taking magnesium because which I will get into in a second, have started moving my body a lot more, and I was starting to get cramps in my calves during the night, which was so painful and so upsetting. So I'm taking magnesium to help with muscle recovery, and I think that's all. Omega as well. So I'm taking some fish oil. Again, not something you should be on long term. So definitely have that conversation with your doctor. Make sure it's a good fit for you. But these vitamins were something that I felt like I could easily get into my body. And that is something that I can keep up every single day. And I actually bought one of those pill pots with like the Monday, Tuesday, the days of the week. And I fill that up every single Sunday, and I make sure that I'm taking all of my vitamins, because in the past I have bought all of these expensive vitamins and I have not been consistent with it. And then fast forward to when I go through one of these stages where I start doing it all again, they're all out of date. So this time I was serious about it. So I literally have 2 pill pots, one in my handbag that I just take with me, and when I think about it, I take it on the go, or one next to my bed that if all fails, I can take it before I go to sleep at night. So that's the first thing. I am not really feeling the effects of any of them at the moment, if I'm being completely honest, because it's not been, they say it takes roughly 30 days for vitamins to kind of start working. So I'm obviously only 2 weeks into this brand new routine, but I'm excited to really get back on taking them consistently. The next thing, which you might kind of roll your eyes at, when I was really down in the dumps, I was like, what is an easy way for me to help my body recover? And I ended up investing in a juicer. Now, I know that juicing has some negative connotations to it because people go the full extreme where they'll only have juices and they're not having proper foods, but that is definitely not what I'm doing. I invested in a juicer because I wanted like fresh juice. Who doesn't want fresh juice? Yum. But also to just have an excuse and a way to get extra veggies into my body each and every day. So I have been taking a bigger juice and also making little wellness shots. So at the moment I am just rotating on the same recipe. So in my big juice I have carrots, lemon, oranges, and green apples, and then in my wellness shots it's turmeric, ginger, lemon, and a little bit of orange as well. So that has been working really well for me. I'm really enjoying that, even as like a ritual, to have like a fresh juice every single day or every other day. And obviously the benefits of that is getting more veggies in, and you can also tailor your juice to like the reason why you want it. So for me at the moment, the two that I'm doing is immunity boosting. So again, it's only been a couple of weeks. Juicing takes a lot of effort. I will be completely transparent with you, but I find it's like a mindfulness activity. So I'm really enjoying listening to a podcast and doing something like with my hands, which has been really nice. The next thing that I have been doing is I ordered some sea moss. Now, sea moss is something that I have seen online so much, but never really known whether I want to try it or whether it's something that I want to start doing. But again, I was super sad. I just wanted to overload my body with really beautiful extra things to just give it that little help it out essentially. So I ordered the OG and also the Blue Wizard, I think it's called, and again I've only been on it for a couple of weeks, so I can't comment to the effects yet, but so far it's just something that I think's pretty yum. I don't really dislike the taste of it, and it's a spoonful or 2 spoonfuls a day, and it's something just easy that I can put into my body, and it has a huge range of benefits. And I like things that are more natural instead of things that are like created. So I'm really excited to see about that. Maybe I'll give you guys an update on a future episode to see if I'm feeling any different while being on that. So again, a similar sort of thing, I ended up ordering some mushroom extracts. And again, I know that some people believe in it, some people don't, but I have used these types of mushrooms before, and it's the biohack pack. And I did find that I had more energy and that I had more focus, less brain fog, and things like that. So I reordered a whole brand new pack so that I could just start afresh, and I have only been on that a couple of days, so I can't really comment to it. And when I've done it previously, I did notice a few minor changes, but again, your girl wasn't consistent with it, so I couldn't really give you like an honest, open answer to whether I think that it helps, but it's just something that I want to implement and try. So again, maybe I'll give you an update in a future episode. So, a big thing that I have been doing since being sick is looking at my nervous system. I truly believe that we are as healthy as our nervous system. And for me personally, I naturally fall into my fight or flight more than my rest and digest. And it's something that I've been aware of from previous traumas and just naturally the state of my nervous system. When I'm getting ready in the mornings, when I'm doing my makeup, I notice that I'm rushing. When I'm driving on the road, even if I have plenty of time, I'm rushing. When I am sometimes teaching, because I'm excited and passionate, I can feel my body naturally go into that sympathetic response. And so for me, regulating my nervous system has been top priority of my list, because our body, when we're in our fight or flight, literally doesn't know the difference between a tiger or a bear chasing us and us doing our everyday things. So for me, filming this, my body could go, we're getting chased by a bear, right? Teaching breath work, all of these people that are in this class are bears, which isn't true, obviously, but our nervous system doesn't know the difference, right? So a huge thing for me has been regulating my nervous system, and I've been doing that in a few different ways. I have been putting my legs up against the wall. So you lay on your back and you create like an L shape and your legs go up against the wall. It is the quickest and easiest, and like, I just think you don't even have to think about it. You lay down, you enjoy it. It's 10 minutes of your life. It feels beautiful. That is the quickest way I can recommend dropping yourself into your parasympathetic. And I pair that sometimes with listening to high frequency music or meditation or breath work. So you can also habit stack it, which is just a game changer on its own. I've also been regulating my nervous system through breath work. I realized that especially since teaching breathwork twice a week at the loft, I have been teaching it and preaching about it and loving it, but not actually doing it for myself. And I always want to be in integrity with what I share with you guys and what I teach my clients. And I just felt like it wasn't the best, like I wasn't being the most integral that I could by telling people to meditate and the benefits of meditation and breath work, and I wasn't doing it. So I, as well as putting my legs up against the wall, added in meditation every single day, even if it's 2 minutes, and breath work as well, morning and night, which has been really beautiful. And I'm talking about like as you're falling asleep, taking some slow, deep breaths, or as you're making your morning coffee, taking some deep breaths, like just becoming intentional with the breath. It doesn't have to be a 60-minute, really intense type of breath work. It can literally be you just bringing your awareness to where you're breathing in your body and changing it to be more beneficial. I also got into a really good routine, I would say like November, December, January, of walking every single day. And then since my routine has changed since being sick, I actually haven't got back into finding that new routine. Plus, here in Australia, it has been extremely hot the last few months. And so that is something that I haven't yet, but I really want to bring back in. I was going for a 7K walk every day with my mum around this really beautiful river. And it was just so beautiful to have quality time with her, be in nature, and also move my body. So I definitely want to bring that back. And also yoga. And when I say yoga, yes, it can be a beautiful class, or it could be a YouTube video that you find for free, or it could literally be you intuitively stretching intentionally. Yoga has so many benefits to your physical body and also your mental and emotional and spiritual body. So it is literally like an all-rounder, incredible tool for you, especially if you want to prioritize your well-being. And I'm so proud of myself because I have been going to a yoga class, minus last week when I had tonsillitis because I didn't want to share the germs. But I have been going to a yoga class every single week at the loft. And I'm so lucky because there's a yoga class with a really beautiful instructor named Pippa. And so I have been teaching my 6 a.m. breathwork class and then hanging around afterwards and going straight into a yoga class. And I actually did that this morning, and then I went straight and got my nails done. And it was honestly the best feeling that by 10 a.m. I had taught breathwork, had a yoga class, gone and got my nails done, and I was sat here recording this podcast episode. Like, yoga just honestly sets you up to have the best day. Like, I swear by it. So the next thing that I have been doing as well is visualization. So I have been incorporating this into my little meditation breathwork kind of session, where I'll just take some really deep intentional breaths. Sometimes I'll do a specific breathwork techniques such as Kapalabhati or Bastrika or alternate nostril breathing to get grounded. I'll kind of guide myself into a meditative state, and then I start visualizing. So for a while I was visualizing myself being healthy again and energized and inspired and motivated and all of the things, whereas now I feel like I'm at that place. And yes, I still have a moment in my visualization where I'm like, I'm healthy and happy and I bring that energy in, but now I'm starting to project into the world what it is that I want from the world. So I think about the future version of me and all that I want to achieve, and I visualize that. So that means I literally, in my mind, so my eyes are closed, in my mind's eye, I see and I feel what it would be like to have that thing. Often when we're craving a manifestation or a goal or a desire, we're actually seeking a feeling. So I really anchor that feeling into my body. And you might be thinking, like, how does visualization link to health? Once you come out of that, I honestly think it like alters your vibration, and it also helps you move into that vibration in the day. So for me personally, I am a lot more happy, I am excited, I'm motivated, I'm inspired, I'm feeling a lot more expansive, and I'm ready to move into the day in that energy. So for me, sometimes the quickest thing to raise my vibration and also my well-being is to think about how much possibility I have. Like, literally, we have endless amount of possibility. It's like, I have no idea what's going to come later this afternoon or tomorrow. Like, how exciting. And so that's the kind of energy that leads me into, which I think is a really beautiful way to increase your health and your well-being. The next thing that I have become really serious about is energetic cleansing. And you might be thinking, well, of course, Shelby, you're a healer, which, yes, but I think every single person needs to take ownership and accountability for their energetic hygiene. And there's a few ways you can do it. You can do it through meditation and breath work, and again, visualization. You might want to imagine a cord cutting ceremony, which you just picture where your energetic cord. So for me, I picture belly button to belly button. It's just the easiest way. Other people picture from heart to heart. And what you want to do is close your eyes down, like get grounded. You can make it as, like ceremonial as you like. But what I like to do is just picture that cord, and I really feel that energy going from my body to theirs. And then you picture some sort of cutting. So scissors, a sword, whatever it is for you. You can call on Archangel Michael to help with that. He can cut the cord for you. And then what I like to do is, as I feel that cord, like I see it being cut, I really feel that energy that's mine coming back to me, because energetic cord cutting isn't just about you disconnecting from the person's energy. It's about you bringing that is yours back to you. And when I say to clients, like, let's do a cord cutting, they often get freaked out that they're not going to feel that connection to that person anymore. And it's not about that at all. It's literally just about closing that two-way tunnel of energy that's going from them to you and you to them. You're still going to feel connected to them, but it's not going to be in an all-consuming, draining kind of way. It's going to be in a more healthy way. You can also cleanse your energy super easily through things like sage or Santo Paleo or incense, for example, and that's a really beautiful way for you to just disconnect with that energy. You can also do it through your shower. So I always say to people, if you have a job or a role or career that drains you, my biggest advice is when you get home, either ground, so go outside, put your feet in the earth, feel that energy from the earth and the sun and the wind, or, because I think you should do this as well, have a shower and change your clothes, because our clothes hold energy. And I think if it's been a really big day, wash your hair as well, because hair holds energy. And what I like to do is have the shower trickling down, and I literally visualize it washing away the day, washing away all of that energy, everything that I have accumulated through the day, and imagine that the drain is taking it. And also essential oils. That's something you can use to cleanse, and it's a really beautiful, easy way to cleanse. You can just put it on various parts of your body, put it in the palms of your hands, smell it, put some on the crown of your head, whatever feels good for you. And essential oils is something that I ebb and flow with a lot. And lately I have been getting back on the essential oil grind. I love it. And I often buy new oils for different reasons and seasons. And so, for example, moving into the salon and the new space, I bought myself a new essential oil so that I can feel like that fresh, beautiful energy. And also, smell is one of our biggest association senses. So whenever I want to come back to that, like, inspired, motivated, excited sort of energy, I can smell that specific oil and I'm automatically transported back to that place. I have also been really getting into journaling again. You may have seen on my Instagram, I shared a little bit about this. I am just loving it for different reasons. I'm loving it to let everything out of my mind, and tonsillitis is a lot about your throat chakra and what you're not expressing and how you're holding things in and not speaking your truth. So I definitely took that on board, and sometimes I don't want to tell people how I feel, or I don't feel safe to do so. So I turn to my journal, and I've been loving it. In the mornings, I journal a lot about how I want my day to look, or the energy I want to feel, or the type of clients I want to attract. And then in the evenings, I've just been doing a short mind dump where I let go of everything, and I literally write, even if it's a little bit lower vibration, like if I'm angry or resentful or disappointed or sad, I write it in there and I let it go. And in a similar way, my next point is therapy. Therapy is something that I cannot recommend enough. I think that every single person should go to therapy at some stage in their life, whether they're going through something or not. As a therapist, I hear people say constantly that they don't need a therapist because they're not going through something. And I think we're all going through something all the time, because we are all living in this very unstable, unsettling, overwhelming, and sometimes beautiful world. And I think it's just so nice to have someone external to you, external to your family, your circle, your loved ones, that you can talk to from a subjective lens, meaning that they don't have attachment to the things that you have attachment to. And so they can give you advice from an outsider point of view. They can give you suggestions. They can reflect things back to you. And I also think it's really nice to have somebody that's not your family members, because yes, people want to be there for you, and yes, your family and your loved ones want to hold that space for you, but also they're going through their own things most of the time as well. And sometimes they can only see things through the lens of your best interest and because they love you, which isn't always the most beneficial. It could be that they're caught up in the toxic cycle as well, or they're going through their own things, which blurs the lens that they're seeing your experience through. They could put their projections onto it, which trained therapists don't do. They are trained to look at things subjectively through a neutral lens, not through their own bias. So I think every single person at some stage in their life should have a therapist to just help with the ebbs and flows of life, and to have external support and somebody to reflect things back to you that could be in your blind spot, and also to celebrate the wins. Like, you don't have to have a therapist for all of the negative parts of your life. You could have somebody there to celebrate you and to reflect positive things back to you as well. The next thing is doing somatic healing processes. And what I mean by that is, and this is definitely another topic for another day, but moving through your emotions somatically through breath work, anger release, shaking, so that you're not storing it. If you're somebody who is getting sick, or you have a low immune system, or you're finding that you're having just all of these random pains in your body, or getting diagnosed with all these new things, I truly believe as a somatic healer, it's because you're storing things in your body. So the biggest thing and the easiest thing you can do is put some music on that makes you feel good and shake it out, stomp. Really move, especially if you're a woman, move your hips, get things flowing. It is so important that you actually physically, somatically move through life and your emotions and your feelings. Another thing that I have been really prioritizing, which kind of links into my visualization piece, is channeling a higher purpose, whether that be your higher self, your guides, archangels, like just entities, whatever you connect with, God. I truly, truly believe that when you connect to a higher power, whether it's you or something external, it raises your vibration so much. It helps you to not feel so alone and helpless in life. And that correlates to raising your mental health, improving your mental health. And we know that when our mental health is at an all-time high, so is our immune system. People that have issues with their mental health also normally have issues with their immunity. So if you can be channeling something that gives you a sense of a higher power, a higher purpose, you will naturally be raising your mental health and in turn your immune system. Then there's a few other very tangible things that I have been implementing, which is spending more time outside in the sun and grounding. I'm trying every day to get out of the house, even if it means sitting outside and journaling with my bare feet in the earth. But as somebody who now works from home a lot, whereas when I had the wellness center, I was out of the house every single day, driving to work and at work. But since working from home, I could go like 2 days of just being inside. And I noticed that really negatively impacted my mental health and well-being. So I'm spending a lot of time outside. I am spending less time on screens. Now, this includes like my phone. So obviously being an entrepreneur and a small business, I spend a lot of time on Instagram promoting. I spend a lot of time in front of a camera. Like right now I have my camera, my phone, my laptop and an iPad all staring at me and a giant ring light. So I'm consuming and experiencing a lot of artificial light all the time. So I have been trying to minimize that as much as I can. So yes, doing it for work, but then instead of binging Netflix, I will meditate. Instead of scrolling on TikTok, which has its place and its time, I'm journaling, things like that. So really limiting my screen time. And with that, another thing that I've been looking at is what I've been consuming. So not only on social media, so really doing a social media detox, unfollowing things that's not in alignment for me, and also following things that are like people that inspire me. Also looking at the programs that I'm watching. So for example, when I got sick, and I think again there's a place and a time for everything, I started watching Netflix and I was like binging some series because my body just needed to be a couch potato and to rot for a few days in order to recover. So I started watching Handmaid's Tale, and it's a beautiful, like it's a really, really good series to get your teeth into, not for like a week straight. And I started to notice, because it's quite a heavy series with a lot of full-on themes, especially to do with women's rights and suppression of the feminine, I was finding that I was finishing watching those episodes with like this emotional hangover. It was actually making my headache that I already had from being sick so much worse, and I was feeling so drained. And so yes, my body needed to just literally lay on the couch or lay in bed and like just switch off. So I started watching YouTube channels instead, and I found the most inspiring, beautiful vlogs which left me feeling excited for when I was well. It actually was teaching me things. It was opening up my mind to alternative things I hadn't even thought of, or, when somebody says something to you and it just lands and like plants that seed, it was giving me opportunities for that. So I would spend maybe one episode a day on Handmaid's Tale because it's a good series and I really liked it. But then the rest of the day I was actually on YouTube consuming more content that helped me to feel expanded rather than restricted, or, feeling a lot of negativity essentially. And then the last one that I want to share with you guys is, again, a very tangible thing that I think a lot of us can relate to. It is cleaning your brushes, cleaning your makeup brushes. Now, I am embarrassed to say that I can't tell you when the last time it was that I cleaned my brushes. And so when I was sick, I got this drop in of like, this is something that is on your face basically every single day, and you haven't even taken the time to wash your brushes. Like, I religiously wash my sheets. Like, I love clean sheets. And I was like, that's something that I'm in every single day. But then when it comes to my makeup brushes, I don't give it the same attention. So I went through a big stage of cleaning all of my brushes. And I honestly think that that's helped to remove some of the bacteria and to help just keep me as clean and hygienic as possible. And actually, I forgot one more that I've been doing religiously, which I am loving, is oil pulling. And I've definitely spoke to you guys about this on a previous episode before, but essentially you put coconut oil in your mouth for about 15 minutes in the morning, and then you spit that out and use a tongue scraper, and that cleans off all of the bacteria that you have accumulated on your tongue. And if you look, especially in Ayurvedic medicine, like Ayurvedic practices all about your tongue, you can tell how healthy somebody is from the state of their tongue. I'm not going to speak much more into it because it's not like a part of my profession or qualifications, but if you want to have a look into it, honestly, go down the rabbit hole of your tongue being linked to your health, and it's crazy. So I have been doing oil pulling every single day without fail, and I am feeling so much better. I feel like this has unintentionally turned into a very long episode, so I'm going to leave you with all of that to ponder, and hopefully as I was talking, there's certain things that you connect with or want to connect with, and hopefully it can motivate you to not be like me and get sick in order to implement these things, but you can implement them before that happens and have some really simple ways to boost your immune system, increase your mental health and well-being, and to just overall make you feel better and more energetic and happier. Like, honestly, how I've been feeling the last few days, it has been so refreshing, and I feel so excited to live life. Whereas I know that sounds like really dramatic, but honestly, when you have been as sick as I was a couple weeks ago, you appreciate the little things and feeling how I feel today and the last few days. So I will catch you in next week's episode. Thank you for being here. As always, please either share this on your Instagram story or send it to a friend that maybe needs to hear it, because I absolutely love seeing you guys enjoy the podcast, or send me a message with your takeaways. I love knowing that I'm actually talking to people and not just to myself through my microphone. So it means the world. I will chat to you soon, my loves. Thank you again for being here.